Great. Friends, today we are restarting our Network FP Success Talks. Last year, we had run this series with around 8 of the successful financial advisors, and it was received very well. So we thought we'll restart it and we'll add some more flavor to it, some more meaning to it, make it more relevant and more useful to you all. So welcome once again. Thanks for joining in on this Tuesday, early morning at 10 o'clock. So Anand, just to share with you Anand's background before we get into the interview, Anand manages over 500 crores of assets for 80 wealthy clients, has over 13 years of experience, as in he has actually 20 years experience, but started 13 years back the practice and is based out of Bangalore. Anand, welcome once again.
Thank you, Sadik, and looking forward to talking to everyone. Thank you.
Before we get on to the questions, Anand, today morning, my wife asked me, so who is your guest on the show today? And I said, Anand Rathi. So she's like, Anand Rathi of Anand Rathi Wealth Management. So this is the first reaction which I got from my wife. So how this name has either helped you or irritated you in your life?
It's a mix of both, to be honest, Sadik. A lot of people thought I was working for Anand Rathi, and then there was the ice-breaking call. But then there are a lot of people who may be unhappy with whatever Anand Rathi would have offered them. So it's a mixed bag. Somewhere it has helped me in between. In fact, I met Mr. Anand Rathi recently in Bombay in February this year, and I told him this, that a lot of people get confused with you and me. He said, "Acha laga ki bura laga?" I said, "Dono kaam ho jata kabhi kabhi." But overall, a lot of people do get confused, and that's the reason why, if you see, I have a middle name today. I never used to have a middle name. I had it. It's not that I created it. But the K stands for Kumar. So my full name is Anand Kumar Rathi. Just to differentiate, because I started doing a lot of activities on social media, I started doing Anand K Rathi.
Lovely, lovely. Good. But ultimately, both of you are now famous. Both of you are into wealth management and are doing well. So good.
They say that you are Anand Rathi, you are that Anand K Rathi, I'll be very happy.
Anand, before we get into the questions, I wanted to ask you something more deep. That is, this is called as Success Talks, right? And what does actually success mean to you at work? And we believe that success and happiness should go together. So what does success mean to you at work, and what does happiness mean to you in life?
So, of course, I am a Marwadi, so success also means a lot of money, to be very honest. But the true thing, at least when it comes to profession, is that when you see, at least for me, when I see a lot of my investors achieve their financial goals, that helps me or gives me a lot of kick, and that I believe is a true success story for myself, right? I'll tell you my own journey, right? One of the days I went with my client to drop his son at the airport, who was going to US for his postgrad, right? And this was entirely planned by us and executed by the client, of course. But that one moment when the boy thanked me saying, Anand, thank you so much for helping my dad do this, I think I arrived in life at that point in time, for that moment, right? It was one of the best moments in my career. And these are the things that keep you motivated and keep you going. And this is one of the good successes, I believe, if you help your investors achieve their financial goals.
Helping clients achieve their financial goals. Fantastic. Coming to your start of the career, Anand, you worked in a large bank before you started the practice 13 years back. You're getting paid well and great brand and all. In fact, I did my internship with large 2 banks, and then that's how I got exposed to this field. But in your case, you really worked for 7 years there. So how did you actually decide to leave and get started on your own?
So one of the reasons why I wanted to move away from any investment management company is primarily because I wanted to work for the client. And when you work for a bank, or I'm not demeaning bank or any NBFC for that matter, any wealth management unit for that matter, but at somewhere inside, I believe that when you are getting paid by someone, you have to be loyal to that particular someone, right? Which I was not comfortable with, because I am the one who's meeting the customers. I'm the one talking to the customers, seeing their family. And if I'm selling a product which my investment team wants me to do, I was not comfortable beyond a point, of course. That's the reason why after working for 7 years, I said, okay, Let me bite the bullet and do something which will give me more happiness. And that's the reason why I started Augment Capital in 2010.
So a disconnect between what you wanted to do, which is good for the clients, and what the organization wanted you to do.
Correct, because pushing products is something that many of them are, made to do, unfortunately, and that is something that I didn't want to do beyond a point, because मैं आपको देख रहा हूँ, मैं clients को देख रहा हूँ. I want to see eye to eye with the client, and I don't want to have any kind of a guilt saying that I recommended an insurance product because that gave me too much commissions and all that stuff.
Got it. It's been 13 years now, and you built over 500 crores of asset book. How has this journey been? I mean, how much time did it take for you to achieve the first 100 and then 200, then 500? So how has this journey been?
Oh, the first 100 was, exciting, of course, and a lot more enjoyable, to be honest. It took me 8 years from 2010 till about 2018. I remember sending a note to all my investors, thanking them in January 2018 that we achieved 100 crores. But it was very, very exciting because 100 was a magical number, to be honest. And then 100 to 200, about 2 years from there, just before COVID, I could hit 200 thanks to, network working for us and all that stuff. And 200 to 500, another two quarter or so, 2 years and a quarter or so. So the pace was faster thanks to COVID. I mean, when I mean thanks, I don't want COVID to come back, but the impact that it had on investors and the kind of money that started flowing in from investors was really huge. So 8 years for 100, 2 years for 200, another 2 years for 500.
So you added 300 in just 2 years, 2.5.
300 in 2 years. Yeah. Absolutely.
So that's the power of compounding plus the trust and everything put together.
And the network. I mean, once you start doing something, and if you do judiciously and correctly for the customers, I think beyond a point, that they say, right, rolling stone gathers more mass, right? It is the momentum picked up significantly beyond my imagination, to be honest. Agar aap mere ko puchte ki where will you be in 2023? I would have said maybe 200 crores or so, but this is a surprise for me, my own self.
And what is the estimate for 1,000?
1,000, yeah. The good thing about this business, Sadiq, I mean, you know it better, but for all professional PFP guys, is that even if you don't work, market works for us, right? And the investments work for us. So even if you don't do anything, the new money and all that will automatically come in maybe in 4 years. But you are here to work. So I am saying now I'm a little greedy. Can I do 1,000 in the next 2 years itself, right? Something like that. Well, I don't have a target, to be honest, but I think it will happen.
It will happen because, as you rightly said, the network and the snowball effect, compounding effect will fall in place. So, Anand, many of us start seeing 100 crores and 500 crores, so many clients, wealthy clients, coming to these kind of shows and being invited. But people rarely see what happened behind the scene, right? So what is the hard thing about this achievement or this journey? And what was the easiest thing for you in this journey, last 13 years?
That's a good question, Sadiq. The hardest thing was to start itself. Okay. The kind of back and forth I had to do, it took me about 6 months to bite the bullet. I spoke to extensively to my family, of course, my dad and my wife in particular, before I could do or take this call. I was actually doing well at the bank. I was one of the top performers. So they were also not willing to let go of me. But then, in fact, I did a few silly things also. I mean, looking back, it was silly. चिट डाल दिया, तीन चिट बनाया, उसमें एक अपना नाम डाल दिया, बैंक का डाल दिया. I had another offer, भगवान के सामने डाल दिया. Yeah, I did all that, and I picked up that chit. Okay, the chit said something else, but I ended up doing what I wanted to do. That's a different thing altogether. But you did all that because it was very hard to leave a well-paying job, and savings and all that stuff. That comes onto your mind, whether you like it or not, right? So it was hard to start. After that, of course, setting the process and all was a little hard. But the easiest thing is, which again surprised me, is the fact that once you take a call, a certain way of doing businesses, initially you may find customer resisting it. But over a period of time, when the customer sees value, the very same process that you've set in place, which you found it very hard to implement, starts working very, very smoothly. And that becomes your biggest selling point. Let's say you don't do alternates, you don't do alternate. It is fine, right? I didn't do alternate for a long period of time, primarily because I thought it was not a right product for my set of investors. There are a few investors who said, "Arey Anand, mujhe ko real estate fund chahiye, PE chahiye, VC chahiye, fund and all that." I said, I don't see the need for that because you wanted only an X% return on all this stuff. I have lost. I mean, when I mean lost at the early stage itself, saying client said, "Anand, you guys are too small. I don't want to be with you." But the very same client came back saying, "Anand, you were right." Right. So these processes actually define and make things easy over a period of time. So these are the two hard and the easy part of starting.
Let me ask you another question. This would be a lot of people who are thinking of living and starting on their own. How many years did it take for you to get back the salary that you're getting when you left your job?
Oh, mine was so thoda mera story thoda, because I had a good base of clients, right? I took maybe about 1.5 years. It was not difficult, right? Because I was managing a set of wealthy clients already, right? It's not that I was new to this all. That's where I give a lot of respect to people who start afresh without any support system at all, right? I was so I get stunned by the kind of determination and dedication that they have. So clients were on a platter. All I had to do was offer them the right thing, and they moved to me. So it was a little more easier. Maybe about 1.5 years, I was back to doing or getting what I was, earning in the bank.
Yeah. And how did the problems change or the challenges change as evolved from this, the first 8 years, then now? What is the evolution of problems and challenges? Because challenges never end, right? Problems and challenges never end.
एक तो challenge सेबी से है, एम्फी से है, वो तो challenge अपना आता ही रहता है, which I think, while we may crib about it, but I think it is a part and parcel of any sector or segment that you're going to be. I come from a business community, so my other co-brothers and brother-in-laws, they also keep complaining about government and this thing and that thing and all that, right? That's a challenge which we have to go through. I think the customers which is not a challenge, which is a good thing. The customers are becoming increasingly financially savvy, which is good challenge for you to have. Let's say earlier you used to go and sell something or whatever you wanted to do. Today, the customer is asking you tough questions. So if you're not upgrading yourself with the right knowledge, I think you will find it very, very challenging to crack a client or hold on to that very same client. And the other challenge that I'm seeing is, the same knowledge is also wrongly used. People don't know when to use a certain knowledge. They all think just a bull market, maybe there will be a lot of people who will start thinking bull market, money making is easy and all this stuff. You will have to train them, to hold on. How do you make sure that they stick to the process? All that is going to be a little more challenging because of the same knowledge going in the wrong side also. So these are primarily knowledge levels are going up, which is a good thing and also a bad thing.
Got it. So you touched upon SEBI, and let's have a question around that. You have been vocal. I saw some of your posts around, why SEBI was wrong, or why the direct mutual funds, the way direct mutual funds were introduced, why SEBI was wrong. So why such a strong statement? Any numbers or examples which you have around to prove this statement?
So I'll tell you an example first, right? Between 2020 to 2021, I have acquired about 7 new clients, brand new clients, who had all gone direct before that. Now, people think we lose customers to direct. I think it's the reverse. We gain customers from direct because money management is very, very difficult. Yeah, direct mein paise bachta hai, all that stuff. SEBI should have done something called financial fit analysis. They should have asked the right questions to the investor before he could go direct or take or just go and buy any kind of a direct plan. So because paisa bachana is one thing, but without knowing what you're buying is a very, very wrong thing. I mean, you saved some 0.5%, 1%, 0.7%, but then you ended up losing tons and tons of money in the process, right? So that is one of the worst things that SEBI has done without keeping in account the financial knowledge of the customer or the person, right? If they had made financial fit certificates and all this stuff, I think the person was fit enough to go to direct. But most of them just go to direct because it saves some 0.5%, 1% or so. It is a stupid thing to do. Investors are penny wise and pound foolish. Unless you know how to manage your money, please, guys, if there are investors, tell them that was 1% बच जाएगा, but आपका 10% छूट जाएगा. Please make sure that they know this particular point. I mean, I'm sure we're all doing that work, but it's a stupid thing to, on part of SEBI, sorry, I'm using these words, but to just launch direct without doing proper analysis.
1% बच जाएगा, 10% छूट जाएगा. That's a very interesting statement. So you did some analysis, and do you actually give this analysis to some of your prospects who are thinking of direct versus regular?
No, so I've done some analysis. I've shared these information with investors who come to us saying, अरे financial influencer जो नाचते he dances and he says, oh, direct is the best option. Somebody who comes across as minimalistic and they will say, this is the best option for you investors. You will save. Okay, very recently, a very young guy who contacted me and he said, Anand, I did some analysis, 25 years, I lose 50 lakh rupees. Isn't that a big amount? I said, yeah, but then who's going to help you make that 50 lakh rupees, right? Are you in a position to take those buy calls, exit calls, rebalancing calls? Who's going to do that? He said, somebody has to do it. I said, then that somebody will charge you money, right? He said, yeah. And he became my customer, right? So these 25 years of analysis, mein 50 lakh rupees bach jayega is all, again, so sorry for the use of wrong word, but nonsensical for people to look at it. Yeah, you save money, but if you know how to manage, go for direct. If you don't know, pay that 1% extra. We are the experts.
Yeah. Let's change gears, Anand, now. And you have started a new firm in wealth tech space. And these days, any industry with the name tech is, gets attention, right? Insure tech, wealth tech, there's agri tech, and everything tech is there, right? Edu tech, everything. So you started this Mira Money, which is, where you say that it's a wealth tech firm trying to help people at the mass level, and also you have a different contrarian way of recommending some of the funds. So what really is Wealthtech, and what prompted you to get into Wealthtech? Because managing 500 crores, I'm sure you'll get to 1,000 crores in the next 2-3 years. So it's like really a dream run which you had in the traditional firm. So why this?
So maybe it is one of my own ways of giving back whatever I've learned a little, right? So the reason why I started a wealth tech firm with a couple of my customers is because I started doing a lot of activities on the social media, and the kind of customers, today we all line up to manage HNI money. So aapne bola ki mere paas 1 crore hai, can you come and manage it? There are 4 guys waiting for in the queue to manage your money. But what about those 30-plus-year-old people who don't get the right advice? They go to a place and then they get sold insurance or some wrong products or so, right? Why shouldn't they also get the right advice, just like the way a guy with more money gets it, right? So that's the reason why I wanted to do a thing for these people especially. But you can only do certain things with your own bandwidth, and that is where technology comes in place for you to scale, right? And incidentally, a couple of my clients who are very, very good at technology, one was with Flipkart, one was with Qualcomm, they said, Anand, this is the right time. Let's come together, and we formed it. So I use tech to manage the portfolios, to reach out to a lot more people than what I can do with my, I can go from 80 families to maybe 100 families. Uske beyond, though, I can't do personally, right? But the tech can go from 100 to 1 million, and it can manage all of them equally. And that's the reason why I moved from, a normal traditional mode to a tech mode. But the target segments are very, very different.
So what's the target segment here now?
In the tech, we do only aspiring HNIs.
So can you please quantify it?
So someone who saves about, together with the family, about 10 to 15 lakh rupees a year.
10 to 50 lakhs a year.
Roughly 10 to 15 lakh rupees a year. Maybe at best 20 lakh rupees a year. That is the target segment that we want to do. In my practice, right, they generally start with 2-3 crores and all this stuff, right? So there's a huge difference between a wealth tech firm and आपने ed बोल दिया और मेरे दिमाग में बैठ गया. So
getting into ed tech next.
I hope so. Maybe only about telling why people shouldn't go direct. That's a focus of the ed tech firm. Anyway, so a wealth tech firm versus traditional targets larger clients. Wealthtech targets, aspiring HNIs.
Sure. And what is it that your Wealthtech guys or clients would not get vis-a-vis a traditional wealth firm?
Okay, that's a good question. There's no one-on-one, right? So today, there's enough and more attention that we give to each and every client, talk to them, make them understand and all this stuff in my current profession. In the EdTech, it's more, it's like going to a 2-star hotel versus a 5-star hotel, right? So there is a difference in offering and they may not get whatever I give here. It's while there's no compromise on the portfolio. It is just that in most cases, Wealthtech will be more standard while the one that I'm doing is more customized.
Got it. So in the new Wealthtech firm, Mira Money, you have been recommending index funds in regular plans, right? And most of the fraternity, most of financial advisors and distributors still don't do it, either because of, let's say, the compensation or still belief in the alpha generation capabilities of the active funds. So why did you take this approach of index funds? Passive investing in short.
Yeah, this will get me in trouble with all our PFP friends, but more and more active funds are not beating the benchmark, right? Which is a fact that we all need to accept and move forward, right? And then when you do something at scale, right, you will not be able to answer questions around fund performance. So let's say मेरे पास 1,000 clients and I cannot be answering 1,000 clients as to why XYZ blue chip fund is not doing well, right? So we wanted to do more standardization. And as an offering, we thought, why don't we just stick to one plan? Because index fund will underperform, but underperformance is fixed to the cost and to the tracking error and all this stuff, right? So it was easy for us to make it as a sample and a standard product. And the other thing which we believed was in Yale's university model, right? It's called Yale Endowment Plan. You can Google it, where they say that allocation matters more than fund choice and timing. So we wanted to focus on when to pick, when not to pick a certain market cap or a sector or a theme or a factor, than look at only a fund which will believing in a fund manager to generate alpha vis-a-vis asking your allocation to do the right thing. So we thought let's stick to the allocation. And of course, problem is compensation. We will be paid maybe 1/3 of what we get with the other funds. But that's the reason I wanted to scale in this.
So how do you really make a business model out of recommending index funds? It's just the scale.
If you're not able to offer customized solution, then scaling is the only option, right? If you don't scale it to a sizable number, it'll be a problem for any index only operator, right? Or you offer an RIA services also. That's what I could think of. But I said, fund, we were very clear because I don't want to go behind everyone saying, ये fund अच्छा क्यों नहीं किया, fund manager का ये reason है, वो reason and all this stuff. So I was very, very clear that we will do only index funds, but with scale.
Yeah. So you see more and more people coming into this space, Anand. One is Wealthtech and second is index space.
Index, so I think I was seeing some decent movement of at least the large cap funds getting into index, because when I did this analysis very recently, about 22 or 21 funds have outperformed benchmark, which is Nifty 100 over the last 5 years, blue chip funds, or let's say large cap funds. But only 2 funds on a 5-year basis have given alpha.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, while 21 over a period of time. So there's no consistency. And this is a report that you will also get very soon. SPIVA, S&P keeps coming out with this report. Like last time around, about 83% of the funds were not beating the benchmark. I think now it is going to go up. So I think increasingly people are moving towards, especially the large cap money, towards Nifty or index funds also, which is happening and which has to happen, because as I said, clients' knowledge is increasing. You cannot be selling and keep justifying an underperforming fund for a long enough period or so.
True that. Very true. So next question, let's come back to you. We spoke a lot about outside things. Again, coming back to the practice and you as a person, right? What are your deepest fears about this profession, either external or internal? What might go wrong?
what might go wrong is, let's say, when you build a business on trust, losing the trust is very, very easy. You suggest something which may turn out to be bad for the investors, and that can pull you down very, very fast, right? And our businesses purely work on referral model and all that, right? So अगर एक का आपने गलती किया तो दूसरा वाला भी pull out करेगा and all this stuff. So you have to be very, very true to yourself and do a lot of due diligence before suggesting any kind of a investment solution to the customers, right? So building trust takes a lot of time, but breaking that is very, very easy. So you have to be always client first. And if the day you think, okay, thoda sa commission mein zyada mil raha, let me go and sell the other one, I think you will lose the customer forever. So that is one of the biggest fears, and there's a solution, right? Just follow customer first, right? So that is one fear. Internally and externally, I think more and more clampdowns on commissions, especially what we make, is not actually good, because instead of promoting, we are what, 6-7% in the market share, right? In terms of investors. I think more and more clampdown will only push financial advisors they will not come forward and become a financial advisor, which is not at all good. My biggest worry is this, that, less number of financial advisors are coming. And on top of it, all these funny new wealth tech companies go direct, and then they will say, I'll not charge you anything, and kill the business of smaller people or so. These are things that externally are our biggest fears to our industry.
Okay. And what is it that you really like about this profession? And we'll come to, the word which you use, client first. But before that, what is it that you really like about this profession, and, why we should be, as financial advisors, we say that this is a very noble profession, but what is it that you really like about this profession?
Yeah, two things. One, if you build a good AUM, it's a model that will run forever. It's like a pension that will keep coming. And if you put things in place, it'll keep coming in forever. It's a business for eternity, which is very, very good about this business. And the second part is, as I said, I stated an example of how I went to the airport with a client and his son said bye-bye and all that stuff, right? There are a lot of emotions when it comes to money. And I'll tell you another example, right? I was very recently called by my client. He said, Anand, you come on Saturday with your family, both, my wife and my son. I said, why family? He said, no, you have to come on this day. After a lot of reluctance, I said, okay, let me get my family. And I went there. And to my surprise, his entire family and his relatives were there. And they celebrated me helping them achieve 30 crores of wealth. These are things, 30 crores of wealth. I'm not highlighting the 30 crore part. I'm sure 30 crores, 50 crores bhi ho jayega. But for a client to do what he did, he threw a good, nice, cozy family event and introduced me to everyone, saying, because of this guy, I achieved this, right? These are things which move you, right? And today, when I look at that event, I feel, okay, I've done really something good for the investors. Making them achieve financial goals should move investors PFPs like us. And I think I'll keep doing it forever. And this is something which I really like about this profession, other than the money bit.
A client throwing a party to celebrate a PFP, financial advisor. Lovely. Congratulations for that. It's a milestone in itself. The 100 crore, 500 crore is one thing, but this event is a milestone in itself, Anand. So congratulations for that.
Thank you. And just imagine, the reason now I believe he called my family is because, your wife doesn't know, your spouse generally doesn't know what you do. And when she saw this, she was like stunned. And I had that when I drove back, there was a silence in the car, not about, the kind of realization that I had, and I'm sure she had, was another level altogether, right? These are things that will move you for sure. And I'm sure many of the PFPs will get these kind of recommendations, these kind of rewards in kindness in a different way or the other.
Absolutely. One last question, a couple of questions, but just we are coming to the end of the interview. What do clients really buy in this business? Is it the financial advisor, you, or your products or your strategy? What do clients get really motivated and say, yes, Anand is the right person for me to work with?
So first, there are two things that drives our business, in my opinion. Again, trust and knowledge. First is trust. अगर आपका trust build नहीं हुआ, even if you are the Warren Buffett of India, nobody is going to give you money. So the first thing people buy is you. Okay, is Anand K Rathi trustworthy enough for me to give my hard-earned money to him? Once that thing is established, of course, this can be established with two things. One, by knowing you, and there are also brands that come, right? So trust can be established. The second thing is knowledge. How knowledgeable are you to manage? So are you the right person to manage a crore, 10 crores, or 10 lakhs? So they will start estimating you on the basis of your knowledge and all this stuff. So first comes trust, which is you. Second is your product and your product solutions. So always focus first on you. Showcase your brand first and showcase what you have next.
Lovely. So Anand, we have been, since we started Network FP in 2011, we have been advocating client first as an approach to building practice. And, there is definitely a way to earn well by doing good for clients, right? So according to you, and if you have some, some examples of what really is client first and how it has helped you in your practice, some top level, we all understand we should do good for clients, but there are some nitty-gritties where we say, yeah, this is client first and this is not client first. What do you?
Okay, so for example, right, insurance, at least my industry's biggest enemy is insurance, right? The commissions drive your sales. Yeah, I'm not saying all insurance products are bad, but there are a few which you clearly know that in the longer run, I can generate better value by going the other way, which is the fund way or alternate way or the FD way or something. When you clearly know that there is more value in me recommending an XYZ fund versus XYZ insurance, I think you should bite the bullet again and go for the fund. Because क्या होगा, आपने इंश्योरेंस भेज दिया उसको, मेरे जैसे लोग जाके उसको बोल देंगे आपने इंश्योरेंस क्यों खरीदा, right? So your trust is gone. The amount of money that you spend, time and money that you spend in capturing that client is gone. If you have done the same thing, that okay, if you've done the right thing, which is suggesting a fund, I don't have a chance there, right? The reason why PFPs like us have great chances because other guys are mis-selling, and you shouldn't fall for the same trap, right? The day you don't fall for commissions, it'll automatically make sure that the competition doesn't have an entry into your client's wallet. And then that will make sure that there's longevity, and this will lead to more money coming in. Market share, wallet share. Dono aapke paas aayega, right? Today, if I'm giving half my money to ICICI Bank and half my money to you, tomorrow, trust me, I'll give 100% of my money to you. And it doesn't matter whether it's 1 crore, 10 crores, it will come to you. You try to be the solo advisor in client's wallet. If you could achieve that, it means you're doing the right thing for the client.
Excellent perspective, Anand. Thank you so much. One last, not a question, but your opinion on this. You were there at our last conference in 2023, right? This year only you were there, and you observed Network FP. So, what are some of your thoughts around Network FP and a community of Network FP? It's not just an organization; it's actually a community.
So I was actually stunned at what you were doing as a work. I mean, initially I met you, I don't know you, would you remember? I remember you were doing a training session for Franklin way back. I remember that vaguely. And I thought, okay, this was just another platform. They're also trying to promote themselves and all this stuff. But last time when I was there and interviewing the HDFC fund manager, I was actually stunned to the kind of details, the kind of depth that you go to make sure that you build good PFPs, right? In fact, you coined this word PFP, which is in itself pretty unique, right? And I'm sure a lot of people are going to adapt this because for someone to go too deep and make sure that you build the right set of business objectives and right PFP is a great job. And I think you guys are doing an excellent job. I mean, I've told you this before. I continue to tell that Network FP is a great platform and a community for you to do the right thing. Like, we have to do the right thing for the customers. You're doing the right thing for PFPs like us.
Fantastic, Anand. Thank you so much for joining us today. Friends, I've opened up the chat. Some comments for Anand Rathi for how did you all like? What was your key takeaway from the session? Can you please share on the chat? All right, I opened up the chat. You can put in some one word or key learning that you had from Anand Rathi today morning in Success Talks. So well done, Anand. Thank you. Trust, lovely session. Takeaway was client first, good insight, excellent session. Simple and straight thought process of Anand, lovely. PFPs, personal finance professionals. Okay, we are all personal finance professionals. Wow, superb. Yale University. Okay, from the heart, emotional connect with clients. Lovely. So all that for you, Anand. Thank you so much for joining in. Appreciate and look forward to see you being part of the community, contributing, participating somewhere around. And can our audience connect with you on LinkedIn? And if they have any questions for you, can they connect with you on LinkedIn and reach out to you directly?
Pretty active on LinkedIn. I'm also there on other platforms, but the best platform for me is LinkedIn. Someone has been asking me. So Anand K Rathi is my name in LinkedIn. Hit me up there, and if you have any questions, more than happy to talk to you about it. And if there's any way I can help you, please tell me. And at least I should help you. And thank you, Sadik, for doing this. I mean, this is eye-opening, at least for me. And thank you so much. And I'm looking forward to seeing who are the other guys, and I want to learn from them also. And thank you for organizing this, Sadik. And any questions, please do post on LinkedIn or just connect with me. I'll chat with you guys.
Fantastic, Anand. So friends, do connect with Anand on LinkedIn. Reach out to him. If you have any questions, go and ask him. So we have 25 minutes more. So there's more coming up. Stay tuned. So Anand, see you soon. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.